Continuing our look back at some older and some memorable video games on this channel, today we're looking at one game from a popular series that involves a purple dragon. That's right, today's feature is on Spyro, specifically the third game in the Spyro series. Spyro Year of the Dragon was released in the year 2000 in North America and Europe, and in 2001 in Australia. It was developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Incidentally, it was the last Spyro game to be developed by Insomniac. Spyro Year of the Dragon was not released in Japan until it was released as part of the Reignited trilogy, the remake that was released in 2018. The game follows the famous purple dragon who travels through the Forgotten Realms to recover the stolen dragon eggs which are scattered across the levels. The worlds are linked by homeworlds or hubs, and to proceed to the next hub you must complete 5 worlds, gather a certain number of eggs or defeat a boss, but not every egg needs to be collected in order to make progress. There's also plenty to do after story completion. You can come back to any area to collect any dragon eggs you may have missed, and there's also mini games that you can play that are played by Spyro or other critters. These include races, gunfights, and even skateboarding. While there's no health system that's displayed on screen in terms of health bars, Spyro does have a dragonfly that flies nearby named Sparks. This is actually Spyro's health, with the dragonfly changing colour when Spyro takes damage and ultimately disappearing when you're about to lose a life. This does declutter the heads-up display, which shows gems, lives, eggs and time for the timed events. However, it could be a little confusing to new players. Graphically, the game looks similar to other games at the time. These were improved graphics though from the previous 2 releases. The game is bright and colourful, and it does have a little bit of a cartoonish tone when you're hit, such as stars above a character's head. Also, interactions between other characters or cutscenes are greeted with this watercolour painting style scene, which I feel is a good contrast and breaks things up a bit. Spyro Year of the Dragon was named as such because it was released during the Year of the Dragon in the Chinese zodiac. But that's not the only interesting thing about this game. If you input a code on the Year of the Dragon's title screen, you'll end up in what looks like a demo of Crash Bash. When you're there, you're able to open up the debug menu, and from there every single level of Crash Bash is playable. So you're effectively getting 2 games in one. In terms of reviews, video game aggregator Metacritic give this game a 91 out of 100, with most of those review scores coming in at around an 8 or a 9. Here's what I think. Spyro was a really popular video game series, especially in the late 90s and early 2000s. While it wasn't a game I played a lot of, it's quite a simple 3D platformer, and I could understand its popularity. Maybe it's not as popular as some other video game characters, but Spyro is definitely recognisable amongst the gaming community. So that was a brief look at Spyro Year of the Dragon. Was this a game that you remember playing? If it was, leave me your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like looking back at some older video games, stay tuned to the channel as well, because there'll be plenty more of them coming soon.